So when we look at a professional golfer and the best golfers in the world, there is one thing that they all have in common. Now, they may have slight different backswing positions. So we see some examples where pros get their arms working further away from them. We see some pros that get the arms working closer to them. We see some where the club shaft looks more this way at the top. We see some that is more laid off. So there are differences. However, the one common denominator is coming in towards the hit, and what we see is the way that all the pros get the club coming down on plane and they exit where the club continues to stay on plane, as I'm demonstrating here. Now, first things first, what is swing plane? Well, swing plane, if I was to draw a line here through the heel of my club up through my elbow line, this is known as a plane line. Now, the best way that you guys can practice this at home is just to understand that as long as the club shaft is traveling in a straight line, that basically means that you are swinging the club on plane. So if I paused at this point in time, and I drew a line, see the way it goes through towards my target line, and if I do it on the way through, see the way if I carried on, that basically means I'm on plane. If my club points over here, I am above plane, under plane, above plane, under plane. So that's basically what our swing plane is. Now, the issue is for most amateur golfers, the reason why you don't get that same consistency of contact that obviously a more elitist professional golfer is because you have an inability to keep the club on plane in that moment in time. So the question is why? Well, the answer, in my experience, having given lots and lots of online lessons on a daily basis and also lots and lots of face-to-face lessons on a daily basis, is it's very much to do with how you are rotating. You see, the thing that we tend to see with all the professional golfers is as they start the downswing, they get the habit of pulling the lead hip back, and as you pull the lead hip back, that means there is loads of space to bring your arms into, and that basically means there's loads of space to bring your arms and get the club moving on plane, and therefore it can exit on plane as I'm demonstrating here. Now, keeping the club on plane gives you the best chance of striking out the centre of the club face. What happens with most amateur golfers is that they have more of a tendency to fire the trail hip forward. Now, the issue is with this is now I'm standing much taller, there is less space, the club shaft is delivered way more vertically, and that means there is a much higher chance that you're going to hit the ball off centre. So if you like, more towards the toe rather than out the centre of the club face. It also just gives you a huge amount more inconsistency. You kind of just have to sort of imagine any other side-on activity. If you were going to skim a stone, throw a ball, have a game of tennis, whatever it might be, throw a frisbee, you would always be doing the same thing. You would sort of move your body out the way so you can extend your arms through, not move your body closer towards the target so that your arms get stuck. So if we understand the one thing that all the pros do is they obviously understand how to rotate through the ball so they can keep the club shaft on plane. If we understand the thing that most amateurs don't do is basically that, then the question is, well, how do you practice to get it done? A good drill to practice would be the straight arm release drill. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to bear in mind when we're doing this drill. First of all, obviously, we're going to make a very conscious effort to straighten the arms coming in towards this downswing position. But the second thing that we also want to be doing is we want to be picturing like a bit of a wall. So if I imagine now that opposite my lead ankle there was a big vertical wall, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get my club head to the base of that wall. Now, to be able to do that, your body's going to have to learn to move more like the professional golfer. You see, if I'm somebody who just sort of fires my right hip forward, my club is going to be rising and hitting the wall on the up. I don't want to do that. I want to figure out a way to get to the bottom of the wall, and what that will do is that will encourage you to move more this way. Now, what also works very well for a lot of my students is to have quite an abbreviated finish position. So if you kind of imagine I just do this, see where I am? It's almost like I really feel like I'm hitting down in towards the wall, and I'm keeping those arms nice and straight. Doing this and spending some time practicing this will improve the quality of the contact. It'll also, more importantly, when you start trying to hit more down into the wall, it encourages you to move better, and it also encourages the club to move more on plane, which to most of you will feel way more left. So definitely in the golf swing, there are certain things that we want to be doing. In the backswing, we want to be as efficient as we can with our movement. However, if you are somebody who has a quirky backswing position, but equally you don't have a very good sequence downswing, maybe start prioritizing the hit a little bit more, and then you can make any changes you like on the other aspects as time goes on. See you soon.